All right, listen, bitch. This is your wake up call. You've been playing small for far too long, and it's time to step into the true power and potential that's been inside of you all along. I am your host, Brandon Lynette, Christian mindset coach, best-selling author, and your new personal cheerleader. And this is the Listen Bitch podcast. Season 7 is all about unapologetically owning your worth, embracing the bold vision that God has for your life, and shattering every limit that's been holding you back. So if you're ready to get out of your own way, stop second guessing your dreams and start living the life that you were born to live, then you're in the right place. Every week, we're going to dive deep into faith, mindset, and the hard truths that'll help you unlock your next level. No sugarcoating, no excuses, just real talk about stepping into your power and your purpose as a human in your human experience. So let's get into it, darling. Okay, so I have to just do this episode about gratitude. I told you guys I was going through some shit, okay? Going through some shit. I could speak a little bit on it now, like a little bit, because I don't want it to fall on the wrong ears in my house. My family doesn't listen to my podcast, and there's probably a good reason for that. They don't listen. So, not everybody needs to hear what I'm saying today. But we had a little scare. Like I had some doctors using some really big words with me. Um when it came to some tests that my son was going to have done and was going through, huge scary words. Okay. And so I kept this all to myself. I kind of swallowed the stress bullet. Um, solo, you know, uh, but all glory to God. Honestly, I woke up this morning after, I told you guys yesterday, I could do one of two things. I can stay up and freak out and keep refreshing my phone. Or I could just let it go and just know and just know. And so I chose just knowing, and I slept really good again. I slept really great. And I actually was woken up by a phone call for the results for my son. So, um, they clarified some things that they were seeing on an x-ray with a, CT scan with what do they call that? Contrast. Okay, so they put some iodine in his veins and they could see everything very clearly. So we did find out yesterday it's not what they initially thought it was. Thank you, Jesus. And some of you, I know um, it's not what we thought it was. It is just a fracture with a little bit of fluid in it built around it just because of that injury. So thank goodness we have a doctor's appointment in the morning where he will get, a date where he can go back to wrestling. And we did get to go to the meet. We got to go to the home meet tonight, and he got to support his team and help set up and clean up, which I don't know how much fun that was, not getting to wrestle for him, but at least he just got to be back in it. And the coach was super supportive through the whole process and just, patient, understanding. The school has been great and understanding. So it was just kind of a whirlwind, but it's a whirlwind that is literally over. And there was a point when my son is in the CAT scan room and I'm walking out with the tech, their techs, right? So I'm walking out with her and she looks at me, she's like, we don't do little kids very often, and he's not little, right? He's like a grown ass man, but he's young. And I'm like, that's a blessing. And so the lady's like, well, I'm going to show this other tech kind of what we do different with kids because she's been there for a long time and they haven't had a kid on the table. So we're talking and she's like, what is it really, that you're here for? So I tell her the scary words that the doctors used. And she looked at me and she said, this could just be fluid built up. And I felt it in my entire body and I claimed it. And I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Like, God, I claim that on his life. It is a fluid buildup and we are out. Like, we are done. It's so cool. And like, I felt a shift in that moment, but it was just that I wasn't begging. I wasn't hoping. I wasn't pleading. I declared it. I declared it in God's name on my son. Like, this is what's going to happen. It's kind of the same thing. I had the same experience with my daughter when we found out she had rheumatoid arthritis, juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. The nurse is giving us like the doom and gloom of like, she could be in bed for her entire teen years. That's 1 in a million kids makes it out of this. The rest of them are very debilitated. And I was like, I claim that. I declare she's 1 in a million. And this is before, you guys, this is before I think I really was awake to the awareness of the fact I was a spiritual being. Like I've always known God existed, but it was one of those situations like we didn't know each other. We knew who we were acquaintances, but we were not close, right? But I remember in that office, I looked at my daughter and I'm like, you're 1 in a million. And I looked at the doctor and I'm like, she's 1 in a million. I'm like, thank God she's 1 in a million. And guess what, you guys? She was not uh debilitated. I mean, this girl ran cross country and track in high school and went to college on a scholarship for it. So amen to that, right? Like God is moving in your life, whether you want to see it or not. So, I think I just have to do this. I just have to talk about gratitude because if I would have run with things and really let the snowball of I think it's that fear, and I don't know if every doctor in the medical field is aware of this, but I do think health is a business. Okay, I think big pharma is a business, and I think everything kind of ebbs and flows to keep each other in business. Okay, where there's sickness, we need money for healing, right? And so it just kind of is a weird cycle for me. But there are times in our lives where we really truly thank God for Western medicine. I've had 6 C-sections. I would not be here today without a doctor that was willing to cut me open, knowing that, my hips don't do what they're supposed to do. It's not natural. And my babies were big. So there's a time and a place, right? But I feel like there needs to be a little more we have villainized so many basic words that the things that they're saying uh could devastate people. Like people that are not willing to have the faith, or people that are not willing to read between the lines or do the research beyond what they're being told. And I'm a research fanatic. I will research my little heart out. Okay. If I get stuck on something, then I'm going to know a lot about it. And I'm happy to tell you a lot about it because I'm going to read a lot about it. Okay. Not just on your little Google searches, because Google is just as biased. And I mean, any symptom that you put in Google right now is going to lead to cancer. Okay. That's just what happens. It's what the internet does. Like basically, you know, if you stub your toe, you're probably dying, right? That's kind of the mentality that's going on around in the world. And I do think, people are sick out there. People are sick and sometimes people aren't. And I feel like when we use big, scary words, the people that have a chance with some hope, and if they had, like this lady, this tech gave me hope. She saw my face. And I know what she was thinking because they're talking about he's just a baby. And I'm like, he's just a baby. I know she knew what I was thinking. And in that minute, the hope that she gave me switched everything around. It was just that little word, right? Fluid. It's just fluid. It could be just a pocket of fluid. And I'm like, yeah, baby, that's it. Right. I could have done really well the past 2.5, 3 weeks if that would have been the first word I was told. There's a chance this is fluid. The x-ray is not picking it up. We want to dive a little deeper. This is not what I was told. Okay. I was given a slew of incredibly intimidating words. Okay. All of which I searched and researched and went through and went over and meditated on and prayed about and freaked out about, when those words didn't need to be said to me at all. Do I want transparency? Absolutely. But are there different words we can use that aren't so villainized? I think so. And I just wonder if that's something that could be made, into like brought into the awareness of people in the medical industry. I don't know what the rules are for that. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. But anyway, so I just think there needs to be a little sensitivity because I can't imagine. Like, I imagine if this was something that was terrible, if it was something that was going to be bad, if it was, whatever, um, it's like you guys have heard people, diagnosed with crazy things. Like, um, I'm watching this story the other day about this lady, otherwise healthy, goes for a routine checkup, finds out she's sick, and like she's dead a month later, and I think, were they sensitive to what she was saying? It's the same thing like when I had a C-section, you guys. Like the last C-section I had with Alex 6 years ago, I pretty much was about to die on the table, and they brought it to my awareness, which scared the fuck out of me because I should be in the safest space, right? She brings it to my awareness of like, are you feeling okay? And I'm like, should I not be feeling okay? And this is when they realize like I'm losing too much blood, right? So stuff is happening, things are moving fast, like everything's crazy. I could literally smell my flesh burning as, they're doing whatever they're doing. Um, and so she starts to try to calm me down. And then when I'm in recovery, they come in and they're like, that was a close one. And so I get scared again. Like my heart rate elevates and I'm like, holy shit. Like these are the people that are supposed to be like, you're going to be okay. We're doing everything, you're safe, make sure I feel good. Don't make me question what you should know you're doing. I don't know. It was really weird. It just made me super insecure about all of these situations and a little bit, it's just weird because I would have never had my heart rate elevate or blood pressure spike had they not brought it into my awareness, like, oh, hey, you almost died, and it was cool. I mean, I had to stay in the hospital for almost a week and I wouldn't have really asked questions, but they had to keep reminding me, like, you're very lucky to be here. You're lucky to be here. Yes, I'm starting to get that. I'm starting to get that. I don't think it was luck. I think there was a call in my life, but we want to keep people feeling safe. And the minute you take that hope away from them, the minute you're like, oh, this is it, you have this, and this. I mean, some people die right away because they don't get that glimmer of hope. So cheers to the people in the medical field who are willing to give hope, right? I think it's a gift. It's just a gift. So gratitude is there, man. Gratitude is there. Outside of like wanting other people to give you hope, I think something that just helps me function in a life of kind of chaos and a life of, you know, juggling everybody's energy, really. Um, it's like, I'm talking about seasonal depression. I'm talking about these heavy feelings, and I'm talking about we're all kind of going through it, right? We're all going through it. So we're all like carrying around this big, heavy backpack full of all of our sad feelings, right? And when you're really feeling down, the backpack feels super heavy. But ideally, what we can do is put little things in the backpack that make us feel better, right? We talk about finding glimmers. Everybody's all freaked out about triggers. And yes, triggers are a huge thing. It's a huge thing, but we don't want them to consume us. We want to heal what comes up for us and be willing to acknowledge, like, whoa, I'm triggered right now, without reacting on other people, without showing that we've got the issue. We want to handle it, right? But we also want to find glimmers, like those little things of hope of like, the confirmation that we're healing, the confirmation that we are growing. I've had a lot of glimmers in the past few weeks. I've had a lot of glimmers, like, girl, you're in the right spot. Right. So I want you guys to understand that you could just pick up your backpack and put tiny little treasures in there. Like gratitude is a tiny little treasure. You're looking for tiny, shiny pebbles in the world all around you. When you're not feeling the best, you literally will find everything you look for. If you say, you know what, I want to find hearts out in nature. I just want to see all the hearts that God has created in nature. You walk outside, you're going to see, a heart-shaped leaf. You're going to see a heart-shaped cloud. Like, this is stuff I've done. I've tested this. Absolutely. I've flexed on it. This is stuff that's going to happen. Maybe your pebbles are going to be like a hug from someone who loves you, or, the smell of cookies baking, or flowers, or your favorite song, or your favorite song to dance to, your favorite stuffed blanket, or stuffed animal, or your softest blanket, right? When you feel down, like, you can notice all these little pebbles. And when you find them, it's about bringing out your awareness, like, I'm so thankful for this. Is this really happening? This is very cool. Is this really happening? This is very cool. Once you start adding that light, like, your backpack gets lighter. It really does. And if you start thinking about 3 little things that you're thankful for every day, maybe it's because the sun is shining. And if you live in Southwest Michigan, right, it's that seasonal depression. Everybody's like freaking out. When the sun comes out, we are some grateful mofos. Okay. It was out like 3 or 4 days last week. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. But that was my light. Maybe, you get your favorite snack, or you think of your favorite memory. And like, the more gratitude pebbles that you find, the easier it is to carry that heavy backpack. And then sadness just doesn't feel so strong. Like, the weight of what's going on in our lives doesn't feel so heavy. Life starts getting lighter. And, I think it's so important that we are just taking massive responsibility for where we are. Whatever you're feeling, like, I want you to understand that your choices create the whirlwind. And we literally have choices. I talked to you guys through choices I had all week. I had a lot of choices to make. I could freak out. I could give up. I could cry. I have choices, with every situation with all of my kids. I have choices. I have choices with my husband. I have choices with my job. I have choices with myself. That's it. And at the end of the day, it really is just about taking responsibility. That means we're willing to admit that we've made mistakes or we're not where I should be. That's it. We have this whole fear of being judged and feeling ashamed, and it makes us avoid looking at our situation. It makes us avoid like standing up and taking this massive responsibility. So then you've got people out here who are miserable about life and they blame everybody. I took massive responsibility for who I chose to be this week, massive responsibility to who I choose to be, even in this moment. I'm not blaming anybody else. I'm not putting anything on there. I'm not like, "Oh, it's bad luck." I mean, you guys know I literally wrote "fuck luck bitches," right? It's not society. We're not gonna blame difficult circumstances for where we are. The truth is that we play the big role in our lives. We are the star of the show. That's it. And we try to protect ourselves from feeling guilty or feeling overwhelmed by putting this off on everybody else. Everyone else. It's just a big lack of self-awareness. And a lot of people don't stop to really think about where they are, how they got there. And they might be stuck in routines, might be focused on survival, and you don't have the space or energy to reflect on choices and actions. We're going to process through that because everything is a choice. It doesn't take a lot of energy to think of something good in your life. Just think about what you have that would hurt you the most to lose, you know? And I think that fear of change hangs over everybody. So taking responsibility means that, we have to change and that shit's scary. That means we might fail again or we're unsure of what change looks like. Okay. And I've learned now, like, I think one of the toxic traits when I was a kid is I tried to act like I knew everything and that I was all grown up and nothing was new to me. It's my biggest regret in life. If I wish I would have just said, Brandon, it's okay to experience all these first because I just was never present in any experience. I had to always act like I'd been through it. I had to act tough. I had to act like I knew everything. I had to act like I had these big walls and like, oh, that's no big deal. When really I'm screaming inside, like, ah, it's really happening. Right. Um, it was very toxic. But, I mean, change is inevitable, and I'm experiencing this all for the first time, and I'm willing to admit that, and I know my life is gonna continue to change because I have kids. I have kids who are going to go through and grow through their own stuff, and outside of, being a mom, I still have, podcasts and books and coaching clients and speaking engagements. I still have these things and a couple nights of bartending, like, I still have these things and it's all new because I've never lived this day in my life. This was the first day I've ever lived this day, and it was a really great day. It was a really great day today. My heart has been smiling all day, you guys. It's incredible. But I understand like it's easy to get caught in that feeling of just feeling powerless, like your past decisions, your circumstances are so overwhelming that you can't change anything now. I had such a hardcore reputation of just being ice cold and like I knew all these things. I could have stayed stuck in that. And you guys know like I'm not willing to stay that same person, you know? Um I felt the temptation of the idea that taking responsibility won't help improve things, but it really, really does. It really does. But you got to have some self compassion and you have to have some courage and you got to have that faith. Like, if I didn't have the courage to have faith, if I haven't seen all the proof and the truth of how God has worked in my life, and you guys, it has been a lifetime. If I really sat down, and that is probably what I'm in a journal about tonight. If I really sat down and thought about all the ways that I've seen God come through for me, it is monumental. It is incredible. And every single time he outdoes himself in my life. And it's incredible. It's incredible. Like, why have I ever spent a moment worrying? You know? Um, we have a choice to be happy. I I mean, you know that, right? Like, happiness is literally a choice. You know that, right? You get to choose. Um, and I think like you don't understand, sometimes people don't understand that it is a choice because we have so many unconscious habits. We fall into these habits that keep us miserable and we don't even realize it. So, if you have been stuck in a routine of complaining or focusing on your problems or being overwhelmed for a really long time, you have already adopted the mindset that that's just the way life is. The devil has captured you in a lie. And I don't think you're going to notice that the habits are contributing to the fact that you're miserable. That's it. So it is about, calling God into your life, speaking life over you of like, I am ready to have all the awareness of the things I can choose and the things I can release and the things I can heal, because it is very much a choice to be happy. And then, there's that we get comfort from things that are familiar to us, even if that is being miserable. And it's strange, but when something feels predictable, even if it's not good, it sometimes feels safer. It feels safer than trying something new or unknown. So I get it. Making a choice to be happy might seem risky or like it's too much work, right? I understand that. But you have a choice. And that's the biggest takeaway I want you to take today, is that happiness is a choice. Faith is a choice. Gratitude is a choice. And anyone can unlock this. I don't care how far down in the hole you are, how many lies the devil has on you. If you just literally are like, you know what, I want to start seeing the truth in God. We don't want to focus on the lies that the devil has a hold on us. We don't want to grow that. We want to focus on the truth of how God can work in our lives. And we want to see the truth in the ways that he loves us and he protects us and he guides us. We want to have that discernment to know the things that we're choosing, whether they're good for us or not. Are you stuck in a toxic cycle that you're unaware of? Sometimes people focus a lot on external things that they think are causing unhappiness, like their job, their house, their relationships, their money problems. And this is what they think. Devils lie here. Okay. If only things were different, I'd be happy. That is the devil's lie. If only things were different, I'd be happy. If only I had more money, I would be happy. If only I had a better job, I'd be happy. If only I had a better relationship, I would be happy. If only I had a bigger house, I would be happy. That's a lie. It's a lie from the devil, because happiness comes from the inside, and it's more about your mindset than anything outside of your life. And I understand that not everyone knows how to cultivate happiness. And maybe you didn't learn these skills growing up. I know I did not. Okay. Things like gratitude, mindfulness, reframing negative thoughts, these are all tools that can help, but not everyone has been taught how to use them. So without those skills, I know it's super hard to realize that happiness is a choice. But if you're willing to flex your muscles and work on these skills like you would work your muscles out in a gym, you have a chance. You have a chance. And I like, being unhappy can feel like being numb or like you're disconnected from your emotions. And this is where we start to suppress feelings of sadness and frustration. So, like, you may not even realize you're unhappy. In this case, it's kind of harder for you to recognize that happiness is a possibility because you are so out of touch with your feelings that you don't know what you're truly feeling. You've got to learn to engage and start bringing your emotions out into the awareness. And I know I haven't talked about it because I'm in a couple of off weeks, but microdosing psilocybin has been a godsend for me to getting into my current and present emotions, into that awareness. It's harder for them, for people that have detached from their emotions to even be honest with where they are. Um, and it is tough sometimes, like choosing to be happy means confronting all the bullshit in your life. It means taking a risk. It means letting go of old patterns. It means letting go of that comfort. And the worst thing is that you are going to try to let the devil convince you that if you try to change and fail, you're going to feel worse. So instead of trying, it's better just to stay stuck in what you know, right? Stay with the devil we know, even if you're not happy. And that pressure of society, like, some people make it seem easier to stay in a place of misery and keep up the appearance of just getting by than admit they could take action and make their lives better. And that happens a lot on social media. Like, a lot of people are lying, just trying to say that they're happy. And then you see things happening like, you know, people unaliving other people, people, blowing up their lives behind the scenes, people miserable, people unaliving themselves. Like, you've just got a lot of toxic shit because they're working so hard on this fake appearance that they don't have it in them to find to find that hope. The devil has the hold, he has the lies. But at the end of the day, we've got to come aware of the fact that we have the power to choose. Happiness takes self-reflection and a lot of support, but even small changes in your mindset really start a ripple effect towards a better state of mind, you know? Quick ways to move your body into an attitude of gratitude is engage in those physical gestures, the things that signal thankfulness and positivity in your mind, like smile. Okay. Breathe deeply in through your nose, out through your mouth. And smiling is huge. Okay. Even if it feels forced, because smile, it will trigger a release of your endorphins, okay? Those are your feel-good hormones, and combine that with the deep, slow breaths to help relax your body. When you breathe deeply, your nervous system calms down, and it helps shift your mindset. A lot of times I put my hand over my heart, and sometimes when I'm talking, you guys could feel me do that because I just am, like, excited, and I just am grateful, like, I'm grateful. I'm like, "Yeah, grateful." It's a habit I've done forever. But this helps you tune into the present moment, and it's a powerful physical reminder to focus on the good things in your life. And as you do this, literally just think of the one thing you're thankful for, even if it's something small. You know, I'm thankful for this gift I have, the gift I have of getting to have a voice here, of getting to show up to help you show up to your life and your full potential. That shit means a lot to me, you know? Body posture is huge. You know, your posture influences your mood. So it's important that you're standing tall with your chest open, sitting up straight. Okay. This sends a message to your body that you are capable, you are confident. You know, your body language is everything. The physical openness naturally invites feelings of gratitude and positivity. We are magnets of energy. Maybe even put your arms wide open. Try put them wide open like you're embracing the world. Like, "Hey, I'm here, baby. Let's do this. Wrap me up. Let's go." Right? Just anything to just physically open that up. You're opening that energy and you are setting intention behind that to just say, "God, I'm here. We are the world, baby. We got this," you know? Um and stretch, focus on gratitude and just really, really stretch out your body. You know, be thankful that you have this opportunity to grow, that you have this opportunity for the human experience, that you are part of everything that God has created for your life. All of this physical movement and a focus on gratitude is going to shift your experience. You start stretching and you start walking and you start focusing on that gratitude. Boom, energetic shift immediately. Start saying thank you out loud. Conscious effort, and sometimes I yell it in my car, right? If the devil's trying to lie to me, I'm like, "You're a liar, you're a liar," and when the voice fades, then I'm like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." So many times in my life that I have screamed out, "Thank you." Um, Saying out loud makes it real, and your voice literally reaches the heavens. It's a fact. Scientific, you could Google it, and they'll just say that your voice does reach the stars. But using your body even in intentional ways, like, shifts your body from a place of stress and negativity to gratitude. So start using physical cues to tell your mind to focus on the positive, and then make sure you're opening the good book. I promise you, that is the life book. It is the guidebook to life. Everyone's like, there's not a manual for life. Baby, there's a manual for life. And I am in it. I'm loving it. This was this will be day 9 that I have started my day off with the Bible. My girls are making fun of me because it's the first thing I do in the bathroom. Like, I don't pick up my phone in the mornings. I go straight to the bathroom and I grab it. And I'm like, "All right, God, what you got for me today?" Um, and if you want to know, you guys, make sure in the show notes you can check out, you know, I have the Bible study for a badass in there. um, but that's it, babe. That's a wrap for today's episode. If you're feeling fired up and ready to take your life to the next level, please do not keep it to yourself. Share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. And I would love to hear your thoughts. Take a moment, leave a review. Let me know how this episode hit you. Your feedback helps me reach more badass humans like you. So let's keep the movement growing. Remember, you were created for greatness. Keep stepping into your power, and I'll catch you on the next one. Until then, go be a badass because the world needs the full version and powerful potential of everything you were meant to be. Love you.